Strictly music, only music and nothing else. And we're going to go ahead and get into Who Do We Want, When Do We Want Them, episode 4. Now, if you're new to this channel, we do a segment here called Who Do We Want, When Do We Want Them? And we basically say what artists we would like to hear a new album from, or a large body of work, or a large compilation of music, and when we would like to hear said large body of work or a large compilation of music. But before we get into that, I want you to go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, share, subscribe. We're on the road to 200 subs, a humble number, but I am a humble man. Be sure to check out my Mariah the Scientist Heart Sold Separately review. Be sure to check out my Cardi B video, Am I the Drama, Need It or Keep It? And be sure to check out my Chris Brown episode 3 of Who Do We Want, When Do We Want Them? And be sure to check out anything else that may appear on your Up Next if it is from my channel. And if not, go ahead and spin the wheel and give it a listen. Thank you as always, and let's get right into it now. Unironically enough, episode 4 of Who Do We Want, When Do We Want Them, I was going to do the artist by the name of Earl Sweatshirt, but he did drop a body of work recently, which I will be reviewing shortly. I believe the video after this one should be the Earl Sweatshirt review, so look out for that. But I also did have another artist that I wanted to put on the segment, but I was very apprehensive about it, and seeing has one of the two already released work, there's no reason to make a whole segment about when they should release. Rather, I should just review when they do release, or what they did release when the release came out. So since Earl's already out, we're not going to go into that in this particular video. The artist I have in mind for this video, I was very apprehensive about, because there is a chance that we will never hear from him again. But within recent years, I have heard whispers about said artist, and this artist is Frank Ocean. Now, I know we've been wanting Frank Ocean for some time, and we kind of gave up. But if you remember when Tyler dropped Chromacopia, there was a snippet that came out that was highly believed to be Frank, and there was also some Frank chatter on the line recently. So if you have your ear to this, you know that there are whispers of Frank. He is not completely out of the conversation, which is why I feel that he's still within the range of us putting him on a segment such as this one. Now, there are a few artists in this category of Frank Ocean that we may never hear from. Like, we want to say Rihanna, we want to say Frank, stuff like that. I'm not entirely sure if we will ever hear from Frank again. But because he is not completely out of the music conversation, I feel that we could still put him on Who Do We Want, When Do We Want Them? Who do we want? Frank Ocean. When do we want them? As soon as we can get him, really. We haven't heard from him in quite some time. He pulled a Houdini on the industry, and we haven't heard from him since. So I know the industry is a bit apprehensive about Frank as well, based on what he did to the industry on his way out. And if you want me to dive deeper into that, let me know. We can make a whole separate segment on that. But I do believe that there is a large group of people starved for Frank Ocean's work and or musical ability. And when Tyler drops, Frank is often teased. I don't know if the blogs just drum that up or if it's fan speculation, but he's often in the conversation. So much so that Tyler recently put out a statement, which I have to verify, so let's take it with a grain of salt. But there was a statement put out by Tyler, I believe, that said he is no longer in association with Frank Ocean. So Frank is still in the conversation. There was a guest that came out at Tyler's camp, Flognog, surprise guest that people believed was going to be Frank Ocean, and it was actually Drake. The crowd preferred Frank so much that they actually booed Drake a little bit in anticipation that Frank was coming out, which he never did. So the people really do want to hear from this guy, and I am one of those people. So when we say when do we want them, I mean as soon as we can get them. But granted, we've been starved for so long. If there's a release date that's, say, maybe even a fucking year from now, I'm sure we could wait patiently until that music sees the light of day. We just want to hear anything from this guy, anything, and I do mean anything. But he does does seem like he's pretty much over the industry, so we may never get it. If there was no industry chatter regarding this artist, he would not fit into a segment like this, because I do not want this segment to be about artists that we wish would drop that never will. I want this segment to be a bit more realistic, artists that we do expect to drop at some point in time, not retired rappers and or singers that have left the industry or given up on the game for whatever reason. With that being said, I do feel like by the skin of his teeth, Frank Ocean does fit into a segment like this. And I know we are starved and we do want to hear from him. So whenever he decides to make an appearance, if he decides to make an appearance, it will be a very good day indeed. Let's go ahead and try to get maybe a 20-track album from him, 20 plus. Wishful thinking, I know, but that would be great. Strictly music, only music, and nothing else. Get in the comments and let me know who you want to hear from and when you want to hear from them, and I'll be sure to review and possibly make a segment on it, on who do we want, when do we want them. Episode 5. Be sure to check out episode 3, episode 4, which is this one. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to check out episode 2 and the one that started it all, episode 1. Strictly music, only music, and nothing else. Who do we want? Frank Ocean. When do we want him? As soon as we can get him. Get at me, dog.